Okay, children, let us understand what is normalization. Very, very important question. So, first, let us understand what is this table. So, these are records, the horizontal records, whereas these are called as columns. And now, the definition of the normalization is nothing but it is a process of organizing the data. It is a process of organizing the data. Okay, so what do you mean by organizing data? The data can be in any format. So we need to organize in the table format so that we can understand in a neat way. And what is the main purpose of normalization? This is a very important question that will be asked. It is to eliminate the redundancy and inconsistency dependence. Inconsistent dependency. These are the two uses of normalization. Purpose of normalization: eliminating redundancy means eliminating the repetition of the data. What do you mean by inconsistent dependency? So if we update our data, there might be a situation where we don't know which one is the correct one. Let us go in detail. Now, after observing this table, do you think that there is a repetition of data? For example, multi-value data is not supported in normalization. The first rule is that there should not be multi-valued data in the attribute or in a field. So, if you can observe, there are two multi-values here. I mean, two values here. So, first thing is that first normal form, there are three normal forms here. In first normal form is some rule. Okay, first we have to understand that there should not be any repetitive groups or multi-valued groups. So we are trying to write in a different records. So this is what the table is said to be in first normal form. Now coming to the next question, next second normal form, it should be in the first normal form. That means there should not be any multi-value dependencies. And we have to eliminate the partial dependencies. What do you mean by partial dependencies? If the non-key attribute, that means which is not a primary key or a foreign key, so that key is considered as non-key attribute, where a non-key attribute depends on a part of primary key. So we have to eliminate such partial dependencies where non-key attribute, that means other fields, depends only on the primary key. We have to make our table in such a way that all the fields depend on the primary key. For example, these tables are said to be in second normal form because employee ID is the primary key and name is totally dependent on employee ID. Manager is also dependent on employee ID. And whereas employee ID again is totally dependent on department and the project name. So what is that we have done? We have decomposed the table into smaller tables to remove the partial dependencies. That means the project name is not totally dependent on this. So the department is not dependent on all these things. So that's why taking into primary key as a consideration, we have tried to decompose the tables. Coming to third normal form. So it should be in second normal form. That means what? It should be in first normal form also. That means no multi-valued dependencies, and the second one is no partial dependencies. Now in the third normal form, we'll be trying to eliminate the transitive dependencies. What do you mean by transitive dependencies? So in this way, so one field will be dependent on another field and that field is dependent on the primary key. Such fields, if they are there in this table, then we will try to eliminate that. Okay, let us see the example and try to understand. So here, if you can observe, the manager is not totally dependent on an employee or the name. So how can I keep the track of that? So employee ID, department will be there, and then the project what he is doing. Now in order to connect who is the manager and what the details of the department, I'll go to the department manager table and try to link these two fields to get the information instead of keeping that manager here, which is not at all dependent on this, so which is transitive dependent on employee. So it is better to have decomposed into another table. Whenever we require, then only we'll try to combine the data. In the same way, employee and name are totally dependent on that. So there is no transitive dependency. So this is what the third normal form consists of. Now let us try to understand quickly what is one NNF. 1NF is remove multi-valued attributes, and 2NF is remove partial dependencies, and 3NF is remove transitive dependencies. And that's all for today. Thank you.